Hi there, this is Laura Brandenburg from Bridging the Gap, and today we're going to talk about job interviews. Specifically, how do you sell your skills in a business analyst job interview? So let's jump right in. So in my experience, there's two kinds of questions where employers are really looking to understand your skills and the competencies that you bring to the table. The first is a knowledge-based question, which would be like, hey, can you tell me what a business process is? Or hey, can you tell me what a use case is, right? And just this general question about a specific skill that feels like they're asking you to tell them what you know about that skill. The second is a behavioral interview question, which is tell me about a time when. So tell me about a time when you used a use case. Tell me about a time when you analyzed a business process. Okay, different kind of question because they're actually looking for you to talk about your experience. Now, here's the catch. I really think that for both kinds of questions, what employers are really looking for, or what an individual is really looking for, is to understand that you can do the things that they need you to do to be successful in that job role. And that means they want to hear about your experience. Because how much more compelling is it to say, oh, a business process, that's a step-by-step workflow of how a business user completes a task. Great, you could have learned that in a textbook, right? So if you answer the question can you tell me what a business process is, with the textbook answer, no matter how correct it is, it's not going to feel nearly so awesome and validating and confidence building as a business process. That's like a step-by-step workflow of how a business user completes a process or adds value to the organization. One time, I had this project where we had to analyze 5 different business processes and they were all related, and it was in the accounting department, and we looked at their accounts receivable processes, and we discovered all these issues about why we weren't logging, or we weren't receiving as much money as we should be, right? And now you start talking about how you improved a process and engage stakeholders in a process and analyze the process. Now, who is going to stand apart? The person who has the perfect textbook answer, which is why, you can't really find nobody else can give you an answer to a job interview question, because that textbook answer isn't really what people are looking for. They're going to be like, oh, what I really want is to know that this person can do business process analysis or do use case modeling or do whatever it is that I'm asking them about. And so that experience, that sharing of a specific example is going to build that rapport, is going to build that skills, that confidence that they have in you and your skill set. Okay, so really be thinking about how you can share those examples in an interview. And this approach works for all kinds of topics too. Another very typical interview question that a business analyst might face is, tell me how you handle difficult stakeholders, or what do you do if nobody shows up to your meeting? Again, you can give that theoretical, hypothetical answer oh, if I have a difficult stakeholder, I'm going to try to build a relationship, and I'm going to work with them one-on-one. That's all good stuff, all things that you want to be saying in a certain way. But what's really going to be more powerful is hey, there's this project where I had this really, really challenging stakeholder, and I didn't think I was going to be able to break through it. Here's some of the reasons that they were challenging to work with. Here's some of the problems that caused in the requirements process. Here's what I did, and here was what our end result is. Just that flavor of how that shifts the conversation from what you hypothetically would do to what you've actually done. And as much as possible in a job interview, I think especially if you're having issues kind of getting to the second interview or getting the job offer once you get a second interview, be thinking about how can you share those experiences and how can you demonstrate that you have those skills that the employer is looking for, because it's really going to make a difference in terms of how they come away from the interview and their experience with you as a potential candidate. So I did want to say a couple more things about this, just checking out my notes. Yeah, one last tip. That I knew there was one more important thing I wanted to cover, and that is how to figure out what questions they might ask, right? So you want to start with the job description. And, most people do this, but, there's been times when I've heard people say, like, yeah, I was in the job posting, but I just didn't think they'd ask about it. Like, no, if it's in the job posting, like, make sure you know all the terms in the job posting, what they mean, what the alternative variations of those terms are. Do that research on the terminology so that you can say yes. Adam Hassler has a great case study, which we'll link to in the article that accompanies this video, about saying yes in a job interview instead of like, no, I don't know how to do that. Like, how can I say yes? And to what degree can I say yes? Right? And that starts with knowing the terminology. So when they ask you a question and use that term, you can say yes. Hey, no, I haven't done a wireframe, or yes, I have done a wireframe. We actually called them prototypes, and here's the kind of user interface model I created, right? You want to say yes, and that requires knowing the terminology. The second place, though, to get the terminology, and this is something that has been a secret that I've only shared inside our Mastering the BA Job Interview course, is in the LinkedIn descriptions or the LinkedIn profiles of the other business analysts or whoever has that job title that you're interviewing for, inside their profiles of their LinkedIn. What words do they use to talk about their responsibilities, what they contribute to the organization? It's another area to research. Not all the time do the job postings have the most current information. Sometimes they're old. Sometimes, they're created by somebody that's not actually doing the hiring. There's a lot of reasons they can have outdated information. LinkedIn would just be another resource, not necessarily a more definitive resource, because sometimes people don't update their profiles either, but another resource to understand the terminology that's actually being used by the business analyst inside that organization. So just a quick insider tip for you. So I do have an interview prep guide completely free, and we will leave a link to that below. So if you want to really go through our process at Bridging the Gap of how to prepare for a job interview, be sure to download the interview prep guide. It will walk you step by step through how to put together your stories, how to think about the research that you do, like what steps you need to go through to really walk into that interview with confidence and ability to handle the unexpected. Because that's the final piece I'll tell you. No matter how much preparation you do, no matter how well researched you are, you're going to have unexpected things come up in a business analyst job interview, and you're going to have unexpected things come up in a business analyst job role. So showing that you can handle that and be with grace and ease and confidence is really part of the battle of being successful in a business analyst job interview. Okay, I hope these tips help you. Share your successes. Let us know how this goes. I really hope your next business analyst job interview just goes absolutely awesome, and that you get that position and it's what you were hoping it would be. So again, my name is Laura Brandenburg. I'm the creator of Bridging the Gap, and we help mid-career professionals start business analyst careers.